Okay, we'll get started. Good evening, students. Good to see you all again, both the students in the classroom and the students online. Dr. Valvi, thank you again for your support of our mindfulness education program. This is our second week and our first official training session where we began to practice mindfulness. So, in terms of the expectations, we expect all of you students to attend every week. Next, we're going to have the meeting canceled because of a conflict of the schedule, but we'll continue the week after that. And we'll have, including today, 7 more sessions to complete the training. The most important thing is that you commit. You commit to practicing mindfulness daily. And that's not asking very much because the mindfulness webinar, the mindfulness recordings you'll listen to are only about 8 to 12 minutes long. They're not very long. So we ask you make maybe 8 to 10 minutes per day to practice mindfulness. And the practice is very simple. Just listen to the recording. We'll make an audio recording for you. The recording will be in English or in Hindi or Marathi. And you can listen to that and just follow the instructions. That's all. And do that daily. There's no right or wrong way to practice. As long as you practice and make it every day, that's important. We'll also talk about habit change. How do you make a new habit? We want to have mindfulness be a new habit for you. So how do you do that? We'll talk about that today also. If you can't attend the class, please make sure you watch the webinar recording online, and there'll be some small lectures online too. So let's begin today. I'm going to share my screen. Just a moment. So we'll begin with the introduction. What is mindfulness? This is the book we're using for this class. It's a textbook written for clinicians on how to practice mindfulness and how to set up a mindfulness training program for their clients, for their patients. Our hope is that many of you who take this education program will learn mindfulness, will find it beneficial, and after you practice for a few months, you can actually use mindfulness with your patients. You can teach them mindfulness to help them deal with depression, stress, anxiety. The introduction is mindfulness is a way of practicing meditation to better deal with emotional, psychological, physical health problems. So imagine you're going to the doctor for a doctor visit. Many people feel anxious going to the doctor, right? They're worried about going to the doctor. Will something be wrong with me? I'm worried. I don't like going to the doctor, having my blood pressure taken, having my blood sample taken with a lab test. So if you practice mindfulness, you can actually use ways to feel calm, even in a very stressful situation. So this man about to see a doctor, but in his mind, he's in a very, very relaxing, peaceful Japanese garden. So that's an impact mindfulness can have on you, helping you to deal with stressful situations. So I showed this slide last time. I'll just remind you again, mindfulness is awareness that you cultivate, that you grow, that you learn by paying attention in a sustained way, meaning for about 10 minutes once a day, in a particular way, with purpose. You're going to make sure you plan this as part of your day every day. You focus on the present moment. What are you feeling, thinking, experiencing emotionally in the moment? And to be non-judgmental, to not react to your thought. If you have a thought about a worry you have or something making you sad, don't react to it. Just observe it non-judgmentally. Try and experience what it is, what's causing it. Explore it. I also showed this slide last week. And again, it's an example of being mindful and being mindless. If you're mindless, you're going through your day with all kinds of distractions cluttering your mind. We call that monkey mind. Your mind is jumping around from one thing to the other. Maybe you're looking at your smartphone and you're working on running to work or school. Maybe you're rushing to get ready and get dressed. Maybe you're looking at your social media screen. You're doing things constantly that take your attention and keep your mind very busy. And we want you to have a different way of looking at the world. And that's what mindfulness is. When you're mindful, you practice meditation for 10 minutes a day, but over time, as you practice daily, as you begin trying to practice mindfulness in your daily life, you can do things like observing what's around you that's beautiful and relaxing, observing a beautiful blue sky, observing a wonderful plant you see in a garden, observing a parent and child playing together in the street as you're working and walking to school, observing small things that are very beautiful. And you'll find your mind becomes more open to seeing these things that are all around you. If I'm walking with my phone in my face like this, I'm not going to notice the trees, the sky, people around me. So it's a way of becoming more aware of your environment. And you'll change. If you practice mindfulness over time, you will change. How will you change? I'll give you some examples. Hang on for a second. I got to mute someone here. Okay.
स्क्रीनशॉट टाकायचा बघा.
Hang on 1 second. I'm going to mute the classroom for now. Too much noise. So, for example, in my case, I've been practicing mindfulness for many years, and even without thinking about it, it's changed how I react to things around me. Years ago, one of my biggest challenges would be waiting in lines. I can't stand waiting in lines. If I go to the grocery store and there's a long line, I don't like that. I get anxious and I want to get through the line. If someone's being very slow and talking to the checkout person, that gets me annoyed. That's how I used to be. But after practicing mindfulness, I suddenly have more patience. I can stand in line and it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't worry about that. If I'm stuck in a traffic jam, I don't worry about that as much. I just patiently go my way, observe things around me. So something about me changed just from practicing mindfulness. I didn't say to myself, I'm going to be mindful in the line in the supermarket. It just happened naturally over time. So my point is that you practice daily and make mindfulness part of who you are as a person, that would be very helpful for other things in your life. Here are the attitudes we want to cultivate or have you learn and practice over the next 8 weeks and beyond. Being curious about what's in your mind, what's in your body, how do you feel? Kindness, feeling kindness towards yourself and other people. Gratitude, being thankful for things in your life. Acceptance, we all have things in life that we don't like, that are challenging, that are uncomfortable, whether it's emotions, physical sensations, anxiety, depression, to accept those and not try to worry about them as much. Non-judging, not to judge what you're thinking or feeling as good or bad, just to accept it and observe it. Non-striving, meaning don't have to try too hard. There's no right way to do mindfulness. Some people do it different ways, but the bottom line, if you practice daily, you'll have a positive effect. Just don't try too hard. Just practice daily. Letting go or letting be means letting go of things that might worry you about, things in the past that bother you, things in the future you're worried about, letting go of those. Patience, just be patient. It takes time to create a new habit and find the impact. Humor, it's okay to enjoy and have fun as you're practicing. Trust yourself and what you experience. And a beginner's mind being open to learning new things, open to new experiences. So our goal with mindfulness, you can see on the figure here, is to increase your self-awareness, aware of yourself, of your thoughts, your emotions, your physical sensations in your body. To improve your emotional balance, meaning you're still going to have emotions, right? We all have emotions. You still might feel anxious or depressed or sad or worried. But with mindfulness, you can better cope with those kind of emotions and manage them more effectively. You become more aware socially, what's around you, social awareness. What's happening as you walk down the street, go up the stairs, go to your classroom. It will help your relationships in terms of your partner, your colleagues, your students, your teachers. Many benefits for mindfulness. So compassion is the wish to help someone who's suffering feel better. It's also a general well-wishing to all living beings. That's loving kindness. And we'll practice later on compassionate meditation. showing compassion for people in your life, to think about someone you care about and think and send them in your mind the kind of the thoughts like this. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be free from stress. You think about those thoughts and send them to somebody else, and also to yourself. You can do self-compassion. Here's the outline of the next 8 sessions we're going to have. In 1 second. A moment. I'll be spending time muting. Oh, I have to go back. We'll meet once a week. Here's the eight different session titles. Introduction. Now, I'll cover each of these sessions briefly now so you know what to expect. We'll give you a welcome. We'll introduce the topic. Today's introduction to mindfulness is a topic. We'll do a practice session, and we'll do a group discussion. And then we'll give you homework to work on for the next week. So our first session today of practice is using the breath as an anchor. What does that mean? An anchor is something you can, in a boat, throw in the water. It will keep you still in the same place without moving. So the breath is like an anchor. You can always find your breath. It's always there. You can go to your breath and focus on your breath to practice mindfulness. All that means is as you sit, you can shut your eyes, or if you don't want to shut your eyes, just keep them mildly focused on something in front of you. And try just keep in the present moment and focus on your breath. It's always there. You're always breathing. There's no cost to it. You can easily feel your breath, and it connects your mind and your body. When you focus on your breath, your mind is focusing on the sensation of air going up your nostril in your mouth, down your throat into your lungs, into your diaphragm as it expands. And you just focus on that sensation with your mind. So it connects your mind and body. That's the major goal of mindfulness of breathing. And it's neutral. Most people have no problem focusing on their breath. So we're going to focus on doing our first meditation of simply focusing on your breath. And I'll say before we start, we're going to practice for 5 minutes. I'll watch the timer here on my watch. And when you practice, I'll be talking just to guide you every now and then, but mostly it'll be silent. And just try to focus on your own breathing. Focus on all of your attention on the sensations of breathing, and just keep on working on that for 5 minutes. This is not hard. This is not hard, but it's not easy, because you're going to find as you focus on your breath, all kinds of thoughts are coming into your mind. Maybe worried about a test or exam you have, worried about a colleague you're having an argument with, worried about something that happened yesterday. That's okay. As thoughts come to your mind, just make note, observe the thought, and go back to focusing on your breath. Try and put all your attention on your breath. But don't feel like if you have thoughts, that's bad, that's wrong. It's not, because you're always going to have thoughts in mindfulness. It's not true you're going to have a perfectly clean, blank mind, focus on your breath. Thoughts will always come in. And they have a saying, if you have 100 thoughts during a course of practice, go back to your breath 100 times. That's why the breath is an anchor. You can always go back to your breath and back to the present moment. So we're going to practice now for 5 minutes. Just get comfortable where you're sitting, and I'll guide you to do mindfulness of breathing. Hang on for 1 second while I get my timer set up here. So begin by closing your eyes, getting comfortable, and just focus on your breath. Just breathe in a normal, everyday fashion. And try to notice your breath coming in your nose, your mouth, your lungs expanding, your diaphragm, your stomach moving out, up and down as you breathe naturally. focus all of your attention on the sensation of breathing, what it feels like. You may notice distractions like sounds in the room around you, people talking, outside noises. That's okay. Just focus on your breath. If a thought enters your mind, that's okay. Just observe the thought, make note of it, and go back to focusing on your breath. You may notice the feeling of air going up your nostril. Focus on your breath. If you have 100 thoughts 100 times, go back to your breath 100 times. As you focus on your breath, be aware also of your body. Do you have any tension in your stomach, in your neck, in your shoulders? Pay attention and try to relax if you have any tension in any part of your body. And focus on your breath. The breath going in, the breath going out. Notice the sound. Can you hear your breath going up and down your nostril? Notice your body. Do you feel yourself in space? Do you notice any tension in your body? Observe that and focus on your breathing. Just enjoy and observe being in the present moment with your breath as an anchor. You can always go to your breath any time of the day and practice mindfulness. Now you may slowly think back to where your current environment is, your classroom or your office. You open your eyes, become aware of things around you again, maybe stretch a little bit. And that ends our mindfulness of breath practice for today. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. So I'm going to unmute the classroom. I can't, there you go, thank you. So for the students who are online and the students in the classroom, I'd like to hear what your experience was practicing mindfulness. Just explain what you experienced. And there's no right or wrong answer, but I want to hear from you. For the students who are online, if you can turn on your video so we can see you as we talk, I prefer that during our discussion part of our class. So please, the students who are online, turn your video on if you can. And Dr. Valvi, during discussion, why don't you briefly translate my instructions to students as I'm talking? I'll pause, you can translate for me.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure.
So explain to students the need to have them turn their camera on if they can, on their phone or computer. And also, we're going to have discussion now.
हा ऑनलाईन कोण इंटरेस्टेड असेल बोलू शकताय. अर्पिता, सुमिता, जयराज, कुलदीप, साक्षी, ऋतुजा, कसा एक्सपिरियन्स होता तुमचा माइंडफुलनेस मध्ये या मेडिटेशन एक्सरसाइजचा? बोल की मराठी.
Thank you, Dr. Valvi.
तो सर.
Thank you.
सर तुम्ही जे काही सेशन घेतलं ना ते खूप छान आहे. आज जे तुम्ही 5 मिनिटाचं घेतलंय ना त्याच्यामध्ये एकदम माइंड रिलॅक्स झालाय आणि एकदम फ्रेश फ्रेश वाटायला लागलं. जसं की सगळी आज म्हणजे जस्ट आता मॉर्निंग एकदम फ्रेश वाटायला लागलं, शांत वाटायला लागलं.
Okay, so he's Vaibhav, and on behalf I'm translating that he he shared that since it is a very hot day here, evening almost 4:30 p.m., but he is experiencing environment like a morning. This 5 minutes breathing exercise made him calm, quiet, and relaxed. So, and he's worried from all the tension of the day and all the worries he set aside, and like a fresh morning he's experiencing.
That's excellent. Thank you for sharing, my friend. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's a good point. You want to practice mindfulness daily. I recommend doing it in the morning because we know from research as the day goes on, we often become more fatigued. It's natural. We get more tired as it goes into the end of the day, into the evening. We lose energy. And it's easy to say I'm going to practice mindfulness in the evening, but oftentimes you get tired, you get distracted, you want to watch TV, talk to your friend, and you don't practice. So it's best to practice in the morning, like the student just recommended. I do my mindfulness practice after breakfast every day. So find the time that's good for you. If you can't in the morning, if it's impossible in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon. It doesn't matter when, do it daily. But in my experience, doing it in the morning is the best way to establish a new habit. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. Other students, anybody online want to talk about? Oh, yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Awesome.
My name is Sonali.
So she's Sonali, and she shared her experience that she had a very hectic day today, and this 5 minutes relaxation has given a great relief to her, and she is feeling more comfortable and calm, quiet, and very enthusiastic. That is her experience. Thank you, Sonali.
Very good. So thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. And yes, feeling relaxed is a common benefit of mindful meditation. Most times you'll feel relaxed when you focus on your breath. It's a very good feeling for most people. So it's naturally rewarding, right? It's rewarding to do mindfulness. It may be a challenge to make time, make it a habit, but do try and make it a daily habit for the next 8 weeks. Anybody else want to talk about what you experienced? Anybody have thoughts popping into their mind that distracted them from their breath? Can anybody talk about any challenges they had trying to practice mindfulness?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
During this session, there are so many thoughts interfere in our mind. Our mind like a little baby. So when we control, that time we more time we distract.
So there are many thoughts in your mind, you're saying, right?
Oh, yes. Thought
Yes.
frequency are more, but when we trying to cool and calmly attention in our breathing,
Yes.
It's working.
Very good. Very good. That's a great point. You're going to have many thoughts pop into your head. My brain's always thinking, always full of thoughts. So it's a challenge for me to focus on my breath only. And even now, after practicing mindfulness for many years, thoughts still pop into my mind. Thoughts about what's happening later in my day. What am I doing tomorrow? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. When it happens, just take a note, observe what that thought is, and go back to your breath and focus on your breath. So again, having thoughts during mindfulness is okay. We're human beings, and thinking is what we do. But it's not a bad thing. When you do have a thought, try to just make note of it and go back to your breath. Try to avoid having the thought become what you think about for 10, 15, 20 seconds. Just try and catch it quickly and go back to your breath. Thank you for the example. Anybody online who want to talk about your experience from the online students?
Yes, sir. My name is Arpita. Just
Hi,
I'll start
Arpita.
my video.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My name is Arpita, and from our daily hectic schedule, we also find difficult to remove 5 minutes and practice this mindfulness, basically for meditation also. But today, after practicing, I feel much better because I had been facing a lot of problem of focusing or concentration, I can say. So yes, I think I should practice it daily so that I can cope up with my problems too. Yeah.
That's a great point. Thank you. Thank you, Aprita. I appreciate that feedback from you. And thanks for turning your camera on too. Yeah, I mean, for example, we all have different ways our bodies experience stress or anxiety, right? So for example, for me, if I get stressed out, I feel like a tension in my stomach, right? I feel like, right there, a tension. It's kind of tight. I don't breathe as nice, as regularly. So I find if I take a pause just for a minute during the course of my day, maybe between meetings, my whole body relaxes. I feel more relaxed for a period of time. So mindfulness practice in the morning as a habit for 10 minutes, going through meditation, helps to give you the skill to use mindfulness throughout your day. And not for 10 minutes. You could do mindfulness for 30 seconds, for 1 minute, and still have benefit. Especially if you have any way your body experiences tension. People often have tension in their neck, in their shoulders, their stomach. Their breathing becomes more shallow and fast, not good, relaxed breathing. Maybe other kind of tension, maybe a stomach ache, maybe a headache, maybe your jaws kind of clench too much. We all experience stress in our body in different ways. And by focusing on the breath in your body, you become better able to recognize when you are stressed out and then try to relax that part of your body and your mind. So our Pita point is very good. Mindfulness does help you to relax. And it carries over throughout the day as you get better at practicing it. I'll go back to sharing my screen and go back to our lecture now. Just one moment. Oops, 1 second. Another kind of meditation we have is called the body scan. This is similar where you focus on your breathing, but you also systematically Scan each part of your body from your toes to the top of your head and pay attention very closely to what your body is experiencing and feeling, to what kind of sensations you're having in your body. This is a meditation that's very commonly done. And by scanning your whole body, you bring awareness to every single part of your body. You might notice aches or pains or tension or a general discomfort. And the purpose is to tune in to your body, to reconnect your mind to your body. And notice any sensations or feelings you're having without judgment. If you feel some stress, some tension in your neck and your shoulders, that's okay. Just notice it, focus on your breathing, and move on. The benefits of the body scan is it can improve awareness of what's around you and what's happening in your body. It can reduce stress. It can help you better cope with pain or physical sensations of tension. It can improve your focus, your ability to think clearly without being distracted. It can increase your self-compassion. You're feeling good about yourself. And while you may feel relaxed during the body scan, that's not the only goal. The goal is to become aware of how does your body respond to stress? Because we all have ways of responding to stress. And it's different for many people. They experience it in different ways. We're going to do a short body scan practice now. I'll guide you through instructions on doing the body scan. And all I'm going to do is ask you to in a moment to relax, to close your eyes, be in a comfortable position, and just listen to my instructions to pay attention to each part of your body as I describe it. So once again, please just relax in your chair, close your eyes, and begin by focusing on your breath. Your breath is the anchor. Feel your breath and relax. And now focus on your toes. What do you feel in your toes? What kind of sensations? Do they feel warm, cold, cool? Can you feel your toenails, your toes, touching together perhaps? If you can't feel anything, that's okay. Just pay attention. Now focus on the bottom of your feet, the sensation of touching the floor. Now focus on the top of your feet. What do you feel? Maybe if you're wearing a shoe, you feel the shoe against the top of your foot. Now circle your ankles. Notice your sensation in your ankle. How does that feel? What sensations? Focus on your breathing as you continue the exercise. As you breathe, try to imagine yourself breathing in all the way to your feet and breathing out. Now focus on your lower leg, your calves. What do you feel? What sensations? Now focus on your knees. Circle your knees. Do you feel the bend in your knee, the back of your knee? Just focus on the sensations you feel in your knees. Next, focus on your thighs. What kind of sensations in your thighs? Do you feel your skin against your clothing? Do you feel the chair you're sitting on your thighs? As we move on, let your feelings of your legs just disappear. Let them go back into unconsciousness and focus on You're feeling in your hips and your groin as you're sitting. Feel the sensation of sitting in the chair, the sensation of your clothes against your skin. Focus on your breath as you go through each part of the body scan. Now move to your lower back. As you sit straight with your neck as if it's being on a string connected to the ceiling. You're alert but relaxed. And focus on your lower back, any sensations you have in your lower back. Now move up to your upper back and your shoulders. What do you experience? Some people carry tension in their shoulders. Do you feel tension in your shoulders? Do you feel the air in the room, the warmth? Do you feel the touch, the sensation of your clothes on your shoulders and back? Now let go of your feelings in your back and shoulders. Let that go, then become a whole. And think about, again, breathing in, all the way breathing into your toes. And how does that feel? And then breathing back out. Maybe thinking about there being a way at the top of your head for your breath to leave your body. Breathe into your toes, breathe out to the top of your head. You feel the sensation of breath going in and out of your body completely in your own way. Next, go to your stomach and observe your stomach. Observe your diaphragm as you breathe in and out. Feel it rise as you breathe in, and then go down as you breathe out. Pay attention to feeling in your stomach. Any tension there? Just breathe. As thoughts enter your mind during this practice, just make note and go back to scanning and focusing on your body part. Now move from your stomach and your diaphragm to your chest. Feel your lungs fill with air and exhale. Inhale and exhale. What's that sensation like? Can you feel your heart beating? Notice your heart beating if you can pay attention to that and feel that. Now let go of feelings in your chest and your stomach. And let's move to your hands and fingers. Begin with your fingers in each hand. Maybe focus on one hand and then the other, or both at once. Either way is okay. What sensations do you feel in your fingers, in your thumb, in your entire hand? What sensations do you feel in each hand? Now move up to your wrist and your forearm. Do you feel your forearm resting by your side? Now to your elbow. Do you feel the bend in your elbow? And now to your upper arms. Just continue to breathe and focus on the feeling of your arms in totality. And now let your arms go and focus on your shoulders and your neck. What sensations do you feel in your shoulders and your neck? Maybe you feel, if you're wearing jewelry, the feel of your jewelry against your skin. Maybe you feel your shirt or your blouse against your skin by your neck. Do you feel any tension or tightness in your neck? Just pay attention to that. As thoughts enter your mind, that's okay. If you have 100 thoughts, go back to your breath and your body scan 100 times. Now focus on your face. Focus on your jaw and the feeling of sensation in your jaw. And now in your mouth, think about your tongue, your teeth, and your gums in your mouth. Maybe the feeling of breathing in and out. Go back to your nose, the tip of your nose. Can you feel air moving in and out of your nostrils? Your lips, your cheeks, your ears. What do you feel on your ears? Your forehead, your eyes. The back of your head. Do you feel any kind of itching sensations, other kind of feelings on the back of your head? And now the top of your head. And now let go of the focus on your head and just focus on your entire body as a whole in the present moment. And feel yourself breathe in all the way to your toes and breathe out back to the top of your head. And just to focus on that sensation of breathing in and out throughout your entire body. Now become aware of your surroundings. You can open your eyes, feel free to move around a bit. And that ends our body scan session for today. Thank you all for doing the body scan. And again, we'll take a few minutes for discussion now. I'd like to hear from you what your experience was doing the body scan mindful meditation exercise. Thank you, sir, for unmuting. Anybody in the classroom or online want to just talk briefly what your experience was doing the body scan? Anything you noticed in particular?
It's feeling peacefully, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
As need to our head concentration sometimes difficulty, but it's okay and feeling peaceful. And when we in this during attention, like our each and every cells, I can feel
Mm-hmm.
our cells, our body, and our all.
So you can notice yourself becoming more calm by doing the body scan?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you mentioned concentration. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate, right? We have too many things on our mind. We get distracted. I'm trying to study for my exam, but then I have my phone buzzing for social media contacts. I'm trying to study, but my roommate wants to talk and is bothering me. I want to
Yes.
study, but I hear noise outside. I can't concentrate. So concentration, focus is very important in life. And we go through life with so many things distracting us from our concentration and our focus. And mindfulness is a way to practice building a new skill being able to focus your mind and not be taken away by distractions. You're always going to have distractions. You're always going to have things popping in your mind. But the more you practice mindfulness, the longer you can sustain your attention and concentration. So I'm glad you mentioned concentration. That really is a very important part of mindfulness. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anybody online want to share their experience? Any online student want to speak up, please? Anybody else in the classroom want to speak up? I'd love to hear some of your experiences. One more person, please. One volunteer, one person to be brave and talk about your body scan experience. How about,
Yes, sir.
oh, yes,
As Bhagyashree
Arpita,
said,
thank you. Arpita,
that we were able to concentrate on every part of our body. And yes, it was soothing and relaxing for all of us.
Arpita, did you notice any kind of tension in your body as you were doing the scan?
Yes, yes. When you said actually like now focus on your stomach, I was like, yeah, it has been now paining badly. As I focused on my stomach, it really, really started like the pains in our body also we do get to know about it.
That's a great point, Arpita. Yes. I mean, when I practice, when I have tension, I always feel it in my stomach, right? And I can tell I don't pay attention. I don't notice, but it's there. But if I do mindfulness, suddenly I'm aware, oh yes, my stomach is tight. I kind of let it unwind. I kind of go back to deeper breathing, healthy breathing, and the tension goes away. We're not aware of often carrying tension in our bodies. And again, for me, it's my stomach. For Arpita, it sounds like your stomach too is where you carry your tension. Other people might be your neck, maybe your shoulders, right? Maybe you clench your jaw tightly. We all have different ways of carrying stress in our body. And mindfulness is a way to help you recognize how you carry your stress in your body or aches and pains. And how do you, through awareness and acceptance and mindful breathing, help to relieve some of that tension, to unwind the tension. And sometimes aches and pains, they won't go away with mindfulness. They maybe are still there, but you can become more accepting and have it be less bothersome to you as you go through your day. Thank you.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Thank you, Arpita, for your example. I appreciate that. I'm going to share my screen and go back to finishing up our discussion for today. We're almost done. Nope, sorry about that. In our third session, we'll cover how our minds are always thinking and telling stories to us about how we should feel, and we'll cover that and cover mindfulness of sound and mindful walking exercise. We'll cover later on in our course the thoughts are not facts. The things we think and feel are often not true. We often have thoughts that are actually inaccurate. And through mindfulness, we get a better sense of our thoughts and how they influence us. We'll practice later on a technique called the stop technique. That if you have a thought that's very bothersome, how to use mindfulness to stop that thought and focus on your breath instead. These are all things we're going to learn in the weeks ahead. We'll do mindfulness of kindness, how to practice kindness in your life. Loving kindness, you'll give these kind of thoughts to other people you're close to and to yourself. May you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong, free from pain. May you be happy and peaceful. May you live your life with ease. And we can also do self-kindness. Have these thoughts about ourselves. I find, for example, when I do loving kindness meditation, I'll think about somebody close to me and I'll send these thoughts to them in my mind. Maybe my wife, maybe my son, maybe my friend. I'll send these good thoughts to them. And I'll send the same good thoughts to myself. And I find that makes me feel more connected to people in my life just by sending these good wishes to them, these kindness meditations. In session 5, we'll learn how to be with things as they are. We are going to have unpleasant emotions, physical sensations, and thoughts throughout the day. That's okay. But we'll try and learn how to be with them and accept them without reacting to them in mindfulness training. Avoidance. Avoidance is key. As human beings, we like to avoid unpleasant sensations. And we're often thinking about things we're worried about in the future or what happened in the past. Maybe about an argument you had with your friend yesterday. Maybe about an exam that's due tomorrow. And when we have these kind of worries and anxieties or sadness, we don't like feeling sad or worried or anxious. We often try to avoid those feelings by doing something else to distract ourselves. Maybe by having something to eat, maybe by having something to drink, maybe by talking to a friend, maybe by watching TV or scrolling social media. And sometimes those ways of avoiding our emotions are not healthy. They distract us from what's the true cause of feeling unhappy or worried or anxious. And we'll learn to practice mindfulness to become more aware of these emotions and thoughts that are making us feel bad, but also to be more accepting and not to react as strongly. You'll still feel in your life emotions. Mindfulness will not make emotions go away. You're still going to have times you feel sad, worried, anxious, angry, upset, disappointed. But with mindfulness, you can better experience without reacting to these emotions, learn more about them, and therefore be able to understand how to deal with them more effectively. If you try to avoid things, they often come back even stronger. If you try to distract yourself from a worry or an anxiety or unhappiness, it often doesn't work. Even though you try and distract yourself, it comes back later on. So if we try to avoid things rather than coping with them effectively, that can lead us to stress, to the body being activated and unbalanced. So mindfulness is a way of learning how to better cope with unhappy, anxious, worrisome, depressing thoughts in our mind, in our body, in our emotions. We'll practice in session 4 a technique called RAIN that stands for recognize, acknowledge, investigate, non-identify. Your emotion is not who you are, it's just an experience you're having in your body. And we use an anchor phrase. Your breath can be an anchor. You can use a phrase like, I'm okay. This will pass. I must be kind to myself. We can use a phrase in mindfulness as well as our breath as an anchor. We'll work on being with things now as they are. Appreciate the here and now. No matter what's happening around you, can you be more appreciative of the good things within you or around you? We'll find ways to be compassionate, to find good acceptance and good wishes, to want to alleviate the suffering other people have and wish them well, and how to alleviate your own suffering and pain. That's part of compassion. And we'll talk about in our last session a healthy, mindful lifestyle. We'll talk throughout the training how to practice mindfulness in your daily life. Now, last of all, I covered in our last session habit change. And we'll end today with how to add a new habit of mindfulness. Again, habit change It's become very popular in many books, how to change habits, how to start a new habit. And here are common habits we have: what we eat, our physical activity, how we react to stress, smoking, alcohol. These are all habits. And we're going to focus today on beginning a new habit of practicing mindfulness meditation daily. What we call a habit theory is that there's a habit loop. We have a cue. A cue could be in our environment. It could be in our body. A cue to do something. It could be a craving too, to satisfy a craving. The response is what you do. And the reward is the experience you have after engaging in the response to the cue. So to start a new habit, the first thing is to think about your identity. Who is the person you want to become? So in this case, you want to become a mindfulness practitioner. That's all. That's your new identity. You're going to become a mindfulness practitioner. Every time you practice mindfulness for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, you are a mindfulness practitioner. It's a new part of who you are. So as you think about this class, think about becoming a mindfulness practitioner. And just to add a new habit, make it small. One idea is the 2-minute rule. Pick a 2-minute time to practice mindfulness of breath. Repeat that daily. The way to form a new habit is by repetition. The more you do the same thing every day at the same time, the same place, the more it becomes an automatic habit that you don't even think about. Think about your routine right now. Think about your current habits. When you wake up, what do you do every day the same way? Maybe you wake up and prepare coffee or tea or other kind of drink. Maybe you prepare your breakfast. Maybe you get dressed. Maybe you check your email or your social media. We have things we do every day the same way. We don't think about them. We just do them. If you practice mindfulness every day for weeks and months, it becomes a habit. You just do it every day without thinking about it. That's why habits are so important. And you can use a simple technique. You can write down, I will do what? I'll practice mindfulness. When? In the morning. Where? In my bedroom, in my office, in my classroom. With somebody. I recommend if you have a person you can practice with, find a friend, even online, to practice mindfulness with that makes it more enjoyable. So work on writing down your mindfulness habit, your practice. Commit to it. Commit to doing this daily. I will practice mindfulness every morning, maybe after my breakfast. I'll do it in my kitchen, in my bedroom. I will do it with my classmate. We'll go online and practice together. I'll repeat this daily and try not to miss more than one day. There'll be times you can't practice mindfulness, you forget, you're too busy. That's okay, but try not to miss more than one day. Practice every day. If you miss a day, try to get back on track the next day. Track your habits. Use a calendar. If you have a regular paper and pencil calendar, use that. If you have a calendar on your phone or your computer, use that. Write down when you practice mindfulness, what kind of mindfulness it was, how long. Keep a daily schedule. That concludes our session today. I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you for practicing today with me. And your homework is to do the following. Create a new mindfulness habit. Practice daily. We have an audio clip in the class right now that one of the students recorded for you. We'll add it. You can do it in English or you can do it, I think it's in Hindi now, from Marathi. Practice it daily. Just listen to the recording every day. Use the recording as an aid, as an assist to help you practice. Put the recording on, it's about 10 minutes long, and just practice it daily. And we'll give you reminders to practice during the week. I encourage you to practice with your students. Find that one student or more and just join on Zoom and do practice meditation together. You can play the audio while you're all together on Zoom. Or if you have a roommate and a classmate in person, you can practice in person before or after a class. But try and make a new habit to do it every day, the same time or same place. You can do it more than one time a day. That's okay, but at least do it one time a day for at least 5-10 minutes. That's the goal. Let me stop now. Are there any questions you have?
We have no any more question here. First
you.
of all, thank you to this session and this mindfulness meditation is very good, sir. And next week we will attend same time and same day. Same
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for that positive feedback. I'm grateful. And next week, there's no class. We'll give you reminders on WhatsApp to make sure you still practice mindfulness even when there's no class. And make sure all students complete your survey.
Yes.
The survey in the class that Jessica put there, please make sure you complete that and do that by Monday at the latest. Sooner is better, but Monday is the deadline for having the survey completed. With that, I wish you all a good week.
Just one moment, sir. Next week we will be engaged the class only on 18th of April. We will postpone 18th of April. So next
Okay,
week we will
18th.
have.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there was a little confusion. That's why I'm clarifying. Okay. So next week we'll be meeting. After that, only 1 week break we'll have. Okay.
Thank you. I'm
And
clear.
yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you for
actually,
correcting
thank
me.
you for your presentation. That I noticed that we Indian used to practice the mindfulness, but the kind of a record tracking we are lacking or we are failing in that. So you have really worked very hard that each and every minute thing that which is moving towards the habit change you have mentioned. So I think your model will definitely help us to track and definitely bring out results related to the habit change. So thank you for sharing your knowledge and the practice that you are actually using through your research.
Let me say something. Thank you, Dr. Valvi. First of all, thank you. But I want to say meditation is very common, right? Many of you probably meditate already or have meditated in the past. And there are all kinds of ways of meditation, and they're all good. So if you're meditating using a certain technique, keep on doing that. But this mindfulness approach was developed by psychologists in a very focused, structured way to take you through ways to use mindfulness to better cope with stress, with unhappiness. So it's a skill-based approach, and you can do other kind of mindfulness or meditation as you enjoy. But for the next 8 weeks, focus on learning this new approach. It's very specific and very guided in terms of what you should do and how you should do it. Try, be persistent. Don't worry about doing it good or bad or right or wrong. Any effort is a good effort, but do try and spend 5-10 minutes every day, hopefully in the morning, practicing mindfulness using the audio recordings we'll put in the classroom for you. So thank you all. I wish you a good week. I will see you next Thursday, the 11th, the same time and place. And do complete your survey.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bye.
sir.
Bye-bye all.